July 2015, yeah, it's a real fun day this, if I'm being honest with you, mate. I think it was something, I still wonder now to this day, why they put my name on the front of the shirt like that, if I'm being honest with you. I still don't get that, because I've got pictures at home, obviously of me signing here, because it was one of the best days, do you know what I mean? I still wonder to myself why they put the name on the front, but brilliant day, and I remember it being roast or not, to be fair, and it's a day that'll live with me forever, yeah. Look like a pup there, don't I? Young pup.
Yeah.
Oh.
But no, you don't look exactly the same.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, you are right. My expectancies straight away was obviously going off the previous season where Wolves had just been out in the playoffs. I think it was by something like a goal difference or a point, or maybe it would have been. So obviously coming to the club was like a real exciting time for me, if I'm being honest. So the expectancies was to come here and hit the ground running and hopefully go one better the season that I got there, do you know what I mean? And obviously things turned out to be a different way, but that was what I thought coming to the club. And then obviously you see the training ground, you come to Molineux. I'd played at Molineux before anyway, but you obviously go to the training ground and you see everything. And it was just excitement, I'll be honest with you, excitement to join Wolves. I'd obviously played against Wolves the previous couple of years, and obviously the romped League One when I was in League One, playing against them with Sheffield United, and I just knew it was a fantastic club. It was a real exciting moment for me. Yeah. The welcome was brilliant because I knew half of them anyway, do you know what I mean? So I grew up, obviously, I remember Bennett being here at the time, so I knew Bennett from growing up playing in the England youth ages. I played with Kev Mack at the time. I'm going back obviously a good few years now with a totally different dressing room, but I played with Kev Mack. I played against Sav growing up. Jed had obviously just come in. People like this, and Danny Bath at the time was top draw me. He was obviously club captain as well. So yeah, do you know what? They were brilliant, mate. And I remember we must have been using the bottom training ground because it must have been getting work done to it. And I was getting shown around the top. The lads were doing gym in the gym up the top. I remember all the eyes just turning on me when I walked in. It was like, oh, and we're like that now. Do you know what I mean? When a new player comes in, it's mad. But yeah, the lads were fantastic. Yeah. August 2015. I remember this like it was yesterday, I'll be honest with you, mate. This was my debut, well, league debut. You can actually see Marshy in the background there, Ben Marshall guy. Still good mates with Marshy, to be fair. But yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. And we actually started the season really well. Do you know what I mean? I think we won that game 2-1, didn't we? And the game was mad because I remember the game for Edo scored, right? And he scored with his hand. I don't know if he'd ever come out and said this. Do you remember? He scored with his hand. And we were celebrating. And he's saying to us, I've scored with my hand. He was devastated because he's that sort of guy, do you know what I mean? And he said, all the lads are going, shut up. You can't tell anybody who score with your hand, do you know what I mean? Because we don't want it to be disallowed. But that was what I remember that game for. I remember winning 2-1 and I'm doing really well, do you know what I mean? The lads were good and we obviously started off really well, yeah. Kenny was fantastic and I spoke to him a lot before I signed here as well, and I'd obviously played against his teams a lot before, and he was brilliant. And straight from the get-go when I first come into the club, he was always honest with me and open with me in terms of how the club wanted to move forward and what he wanted to do for the football club, and I thought he was brilliant for this club in terms of what he'd done, and he was brilliant for me, and I owe a great deal of debt to him because obviously he brought me to the football club all them years ago and I'm still here now, obviously playing and doing quite well. So he was fantastic and you could see his ideas and what he actually done for the club over them years, and it was just a shame obviously it ended how it did, but I thought he was great for the club at the time. Yeah. Oh, that's a bad picture, isn't it? Look at that. I think Edo sent me this before, you know, so December 2015 this, right? And I don't know what I'm doing. Look at my face on that. I don't know what I'm eating. I don't know what I'm doing. That's on a bench at Sheffield Wednesday, that. And Holty had just come to the club, so I knew Holty from before he obviously came here. I played with him at Huddersfield and real good friends with Holty. I'm still in touch with him now, and fantastic character, fantastic person, and a real good friend of mine. And I don't know what we're saying there. Holty actually come on that game looking like a bag of rags, by the way. He had his socks down here and he looked a mess, but yeah, I don't know what we're saying there, but obviously we're having a bit of a laugh, aren't we? I learned so much from them, all of them. Every single player within that dressing room taught me so much, I think. To learn and to really come into training every single day and learn from them sorts of characters. And I speak to Edo all the time, still now. He's obviously still playing and doing well with what he's doing as well. So all these people we've stayed in contact with, but what they done for me when I first come to the club was brilliant because they were so open, and at the same time they'd give you a bit as well when you weren't doing things right. Because obviously I'm still quite young there, I think I must be 22, 23, whatever it may be. And they'd give you a bit as well to make you learn. So they were fantastic players to play with, they really were. Oh, that's a cracking picture, this one, innit? Got this one in the house. So May 2016, as you see, that's Henry, that's my oldest, so that's when he was first born. So when I first moved to the club, Amy was fully pregnant, like, so when we were moving down here, Amy never came down at first because she was giving birth back home. But this Henry must be coming up to nearly 1 there, do you know what I mean? And this was at the end of the season, obviously when you can go around a pitch with your families and different things. And this was another season, obviously, I look at the shirts there, do you know what I mean? And another one's Henry because he was first born in that year when we first got here. And it was brilliant for us because we moved down here and it was kind of only us three. Do you know what I mean? So it gave us time to to really become parents, just me and Amy, without really the help of our own parents, without the help of my mum and dad or my brothers, me aunties and my friends and different things like that, and the same with Amy as well. So yeah, it was a really fun year. It's a cracking picture, that, to be fair. I love that picture. Yeah, I've got it home. Oh, the next one's good. January 2017. So this was obviously Liverpool away. A little story about the day is that we was in the hotel before, and I never slept the night before, I'll be honest, because it was the biggest game I'd ever played in at the time. Do you know what I mean? So it was something, and it wasn't necessarily me going back to Liverpool. There was all this hype made about me going back to Liverpool and all this. There was no problem. I wanted to go back there and win. That weren't the thing. It was just a big game against a top club that we wanted to obviously try and prove ourselves with. And we was obviously in the dressing room before the game, and the teams went out, and we'd obviously got out. We knew our team, and we were getting ready to get ready for the game. And their team went out, and there was a real feeling of belief that we could win, because they weren't really on the strength. I think there was a lot of young lads playing at the time and different things. And the feeling within the dressing room was like we could win this. Honestly, between everybody, you could feel it between the boys. And walking out that day was a fantastic feeling, and nothing to do with the fact that I obviously grew up at Liverpool. I think people like to mention that, but at this point, I'm part of this football club. I love being part of this football club, and all I wanted to do was win. That was all I wanted to do there, and I was playing right back. I was playing right back again, and them days feel miles away now. But that really helped me to play in them positions. And I remember on the day we were fantastic, and I remember held out the world, and Andy Vyman scored, and everything went right for us. But it was an incredible day, and something that honestly to this day sticks with me forever. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I could speak about from this moment onwards forever. I'll be honest with you, if you had all night, I could speak about it, because this is obviously in Austria. I remember the gaffer first coming in, and we obviously had ideas, and you know when new managers come to the club and you know there's going to be people he likes, people he doesn't like, all these certain things. And I remember loads of people saying different things. I just played right back, it weren't really my position, and it's kind of one of them when he comes in, is he going to like me, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Do you know what? If he does, great, I'll give him anything. If he doesn't, I'll try and make it, try and put myself in his head. And then when he first come in, he obviously started playing a back three, and I was in the middle. And at first in training, I was a bit like, I must just be there just to make up the numbers type of thing. It must just be, he's working on the other team or whatever, or this is the formation, but I'm just there just for whatever. And then we also went to Austria, and we were preparing for a game one day, and he had me in there. So it was kind of like, it's okay, he must like what I'm doing. And it kind of stuck from that day. He spoke to me about the certain things he wanted me to do, and it just kind of stuck from that day. And I made sure I had in my head from the very first minute he came in that I wanted to improve. If that's where he's seen me, fantastic, no problem at all. I'll try and improve and try and help make this club better. So that was just the start of that, really. And there wasn't really a conversation. There wasn't really something where he pulled me. I think most people would probably expect him to come in and say, right, this is what I'm going to do. Coach, you're going to do this, and I want you to play like this in the middle of the back three. It wasn't. I was kind of put there in training at the start. Like I said, it was kind of, okay, if he wants to put me in, no problem. And I had in my head, is he put me there to actually have a look at me, or is he put me there just to say, just go in there and just fill up? But even with that feeling, I still said to myself that if I'm going to be there, I'll do the best I can. So, and that's just what I've done. And to be fair, he obviously helped me work along the way with that and tell me how to do certain things, and obviously help the club improve. So there was no real conversation, mate. It was kind of just, off you go and we'll work as we go along type thing. We crack on. October 2017, and again, I'll tell you what, he picks up some good pictures really, hasn't he? It's a good one with Sergio Aguero, that, isn't it? This was obviously when we're doing really well. I'll be honest with you, mate. I think at the season we were in a good moment, we were playing well, we were doing things well. And we knew going there that we could disrupt them. We could defend properly, because we were defending obviously in a 5 and a 3. And we could defend properly. And the game, I actually remember Ryan Bennett played right wing back in the game. Do you know what I mean? It was mad, because we all give him stick for it, because he's never been a right wing back in his life. Do you know what I mean? Shirt tucked in, black boots, all that sort of jazz. And so we took them all the way, didn't we? Got all the way to pens, and listen, I obviously missed a pen in it, which was horrible to see. But yeah, we took them all the way, and it was disappointing, because I felt like we could have really nicked it. I remember Bright had a few chances at the end of the game. I don't know if you remember that, but it was a fantastic game, yeah, and something that really taught us an awful lot, I think, about where we wanted to get to. I think it gave us more of a belief in ourselves. I think it gave us more of a belief that we stick to what we're doing and we do the same things all the time. We can hurt teams, and we can play well, and we can defend properly, and we can really do something this year. And that was more what it was. It weren't necessarily, oh, we can mix it with bigger teams and better teams. It was more a belief in what we actually wanted to do that season, which was obviously going to do well in the league, and we obviously went on and done that. But that was more what it was. And listen, the game was fantastic, and I remember, again, I've mentioned pride a lot and being proud on speaking to yourself now, but that was what that filled me with after that game, because knowing that we'd gone there and listen, we had all the ball, but we defended. And I remember Will Norris playing in goal, I don't think he conceded a goal, did he, in the competition that season? And it was brilliant for us, but that was more what it was, and more belief in what we were actually doing to really go on in the season and do well. Great game, March 2018, mate. Yeah. Do you know what, mate? These are the games that really put a smile on my face, because That week, I think we played, I don't know what order it was, but Middlesbrough, Hull, Cardiff. That game, what we're looking at now is obviously Middlesbrough game. We won 2-1 and we went down to 9 men, didn't we? And I think that just goes to show the courage, the character of the team that we had obviously at the time and what we were doing in the division. I think we went 2-0 up in the game and I don't think Wolves had won there in however many years it was, 60, 70 years I think it was at the time. And we knew that going there, I'll be honest with you, because people spoke about it and it was kind of, Wolves are flying, but can they go to Middlesbrough because they've never won there and they've done this and that. And we just stuck to what we'd done. And I always remember a massive decision in the game. Helder was going clean through on goal and he got brought down. And the referee didn't make a decision. It's still to this day, even though we won, still does me head in because you end up defending for the rest of the game when you go down to 9 men, when he sends 2 of our boys off, and I think with George Friend, I think it was at the time, he should have gone. So, but no, another day that I think will live in the memories of all of us, I think all supporters. I think in times like that, it's how you come together and it's the character that you show in the games, and we've done that. Like I said, I think we're defending on our 6-yard backs at times just to defend the goal and stop the ball going to goal. But something like I said, it puts a massive smile on my face. I still watch videos of that now, by the way. It puts a massive smile on my face when I think of that game because it was an incredible day. Yeah, this is another good one. Obviously, I think it was the same week, mate, April 2018. And again, another day that I still watch back now. Do you know what I mean? I don't watch the end of it back because it was too, even now I bite my nails watching it. I give the pen away. Do you know what I mean? The first one, and Big John comes to my rescue. But I still watch now, and I mentioned a few times, I've got pictures and videos on my phones of these games. Do you know what I mean? Because I think is the part of the history of this club now about what we've done. And I remember Cardiff being second, weren't they? And I think if they won, they could have gone something like 2 or 3 points behind us. And if we won, I think it took us 6 points away from them, and a little bit further away from third. And again, we went there with a real mentality of we can win this and a real determination to stick to what we do and how we play and defend properly and make sure we've done that. And we've done that up until the last 5 minutes when it all went a bit balmy and Big John stole the show. But listen, that's what top keepers do, and he's an incredible keeper, the big man. But the day itself was incredible. I actually remember getting on the bus after this game, mate, and it was the first time in the season the gaffer got a few beers on the bus for the boys. Now I don't drink, but the boys were buzzing, honestly, because mentally that week done us big time. Because I remember getting on the bus and more than me legs or anything like that, it was just me head that was just tired. I remember after he gave us 2 or 3 days off, because I think we all just sat on the bus and gaffer brought a bit of ale on and all that, but the lads were just like, I can't believe what's just happened there. So I've never ever seen an ending to a game like it in my life, and I don't think I ever will, to be honest with you. I mean, it was just, it was crazy, and up until the last, I don't know what it was, last 5-6 minutes, I think it would have been a perfect performance, the way we performed, and I actually can't remember too much about the game because the last 5 minutes just took over, didn't it? And Big John obviously dug us out of it and done what he'd done, but just, I think up until that last 5 minutes, I think it would have been a perfect away performance. The free kick, an incredible moment from Ruben. We know we can do that, but also to stick in again, to stick in at the end of it, especially after the week we had to stick in and obviously get the win. And I think it took us, like I said, 5 or 6 points away from Cardiff, which was brilliant. So next one, what a goal this was, mate. Honestly, this still puts a smile to my face. Like, honestly, I think I was more happier than him. So April 2018, and Ruben wonder strike. You know what I mean? The best goal I've ever seen in my life. Not just live, I think the best goal I've ever seen for me. Probably because I'm biased, because he's one of my best mates, but just the technique he shows, the first touch, and don't let him tell you he meant the first touch, because I'm not having he meant the first touch, but first touch obviously helps him set him up for the volley, and I was right behind it, mate. I never got forward that much back in them days, so I was right behind it, and when he hits it, you know it's in. It's one of them strikes where you know it's in, mate, and it was something where at the time, I just thought, what a player this fella is. Honestly, I'm celebrating when I'm thinking, what a player this fella is. It's just like, it's incredible to play with him. And he's, like I said, he's one of my best mates, and he's an incredible human being, but as a footballer, he's remarkable, and I think that goal just summed him up. Yeah. Straight away, I knew how good of a player he was, and I'd obviously seen things, and signing Ruben Neves, it was incredible for us at the time, but you don't actually know until he starts training and starts playing. I remember playing Shrewsbury in pre-season, and he went off injured. I remember after the game, I think we got beat, and we come back from Austria at the time, we got beat to Shrewsbury in pre-season, he went off. I remember thinking to myself after, I don't know if he's going to find it hard, do you know what I mean? Because it was a tough game, that. And he went off. And I just ate my words completely after the next training session, because he's just an incredible footballer. The character that we've got within our dressing room is amazing, and we're just lucky to have him here because he's the best footballer I've ever played with, and that goal just sums it up. And even the goals after that, mate, we can talk about his goals after that, do you know what I mean? The Espanyol volley, it's got to be right up there from, obviously, the years after, but an incredible person, mate. Yeah, class. What a picture. What a picture. April 2018, mate, and this was the icing on the cake for the whole season, weren't it? This was just something, I think, certainly me, this was the first time I'd ever done this. It was a moment I dreamed of my whole life because I played in the Championship for the majority of my career at this point. And it was something that I always wanted to do. And I was lucky enough to obviously lift the trophy with Dan because we were very close that season, the both of us. He was obviously club captain, and I captained the team quite a few times, so I was lucky enough to lift it with him. And the day itself was a bit of a blur. Obviously, I remember all the big points, because the game was pretty rubbish when it was 0-0, I think, the game against Sheff Wednesday. But the things that I remember most about the day was obviously the crowd outside, coming into the crowd outside, and all the flares and all the banners and all the flags, and the actual feeling of relief, I think, around the whole ground that we'd actually gone and done it. I think that we'd gone through a season and performed how we had, and I thought we were fantastic that season. Do you know what I mean? I'll be honest with you, I thought we were brilliant. The lads were brilliant, the players were brilliant, and I thought how we went about it was fantastic. And listen, that moment was something that will really, really live with me forever, and live with my family forever, because there were celebrations after it that went on for days. So yeah, it's an incredible picture, mate. May 2018, and again, me and John speak about this all the time. So obviously, still got a few boys who was obviously part of it, but the day itself was, honestly, lots of words really speaking about it, because it was everything we'd ever dreamed of. I'll be honest with you, mate. I know I've said that a couple of times now, but it was everything we'd ever dreamed of. On a bus with thousands of Wolves fans with a championship trophy, getting ready to play in the Premier League. I think it was something we all wanted from that season. It was something that we wanted to push on and do that season, and to actually finally get over the line when we did against Birmingham, and then actually go and win the league against Bolton, and then obviously have these moments with the supporters. And that was the biggest thing about that day, just seeing the amount of people waving back at you with big massive smiles on their face and cheering and chanting people's names and clapping you, because like I said, that was something I waited for my whole life. And for me to share that with my children and my wife, but also the boys and this football club, was incredible. And I'm sure the thousands of people who were there that day will remember that forever, because it was an incredible day. Yeah. September 2018, that picture's mad, innit? It is a mad picture, that, innit? I remember this like it was yesterday, because I was actually sat in the dressing room after the game, right? And this was our first win of the season, West Ham at the last minute. I was sat in the dressing room, and I took a picture in the dressing room and sent it to my brother, and just said, thank God for that. Do you know what I mean? Because we obviously hadn't won before that, and you're just desperate for your first win in the Premier League. And I think you can tell with my face how happy I actually am to obviously get that first win, because it was a relief more than anything, because you just want to know that. I'll be honest, when you first come into the league, because of how good it is, and there's a little bit of anxiety that you just want your first win, People talk about points and all, but you want your first win. Just to know, not even the point, just a first win, just so you can get that under your belt and move forward and cross that marker off, and we can move on now. March 2019, it's not the greatest of pictures really, is it? Do you know what I mean? I think I put this on social media for John before, but people will give me a bit of stick about it, but what a day this was, mate. Honestly, this is up there with one of my greatest days playing for this football club. I mean, from the very get-go, the atmosphere around the city, we were in the hotel the night before, and we always go for a coffee the day of the game, me, John, and a few of the boys, and the atmosphere around the city was incredible. I remember going for a walk at the ground, and we never used to do that. We came for a walk here on the pitch before the game in the morning, and we seen all the flags laid out. Do you mean? So obviously all the crowd had flags before the game, and the atmosphere and the excitement building around the city was incredible. So it weren't just the game, this was everything to do with it. And I remember walking out the tunnel and the feeling of I was ready, I was focused. I think we were all ready for it. But then seeing all the lights off and then all the flags as you walked out was incredible. And listen, I thought we were outstanding that day. And I still watch this another game. I watch back all the time. I show my kids watch it all the time, because it shows what this football club is all about, mate. Really going against the big teams, the top players, the world class players, but being the underdog coming through. And by the way, it weren't just the team. That was the whole crowd. That was Wolves. That was us. That was this football club. That was the supporters. That was everybody included in it, because the noise that was coming out of this ground that night, it was deafening. Do you know what I mean? Everything, you couldn't hear people on the pitch. That was what it was like. And I think from this game, that's when teams really started saying, I don't really like going to Wolves. I struggle going to Wolves. It's a tough place to go, Wolves. Do you know what I mean? Because I hear that quite a lot, and that's because of what our crowd does. And I think that really came from, even before that was always, but that night became special for that one thing, and that was how the supporters obviously pushed us. And believe me, I know it might sound a bit of a cliche at times that when they push you, when they're loud like that, they do push you, but that night they pushed us as much as they possibly could, and I think you've seen what it can do for us. This picture, man. Yeah, it's a tough picture to see this, mate. I'll be honest with you. April 2019, and it's obviously the FA Cup semi. It was a missed opportunity, I'll be honest with you, and that's nothing against obviously the Watford team who we played, because Watford were really good, but it was a massive missed opportunity. We were 2-0 up, and as I mentioned, for 75 minutes, from what I can remember, it was a perfect performance. It was everything we built ourselves on, being compact, being together, creating chances, 2 fantastic goals, and then being in control of it, being in control of the game, and that's what we were. And then for us to have one foot in an FA Cup final, for this football club to get to an FA Cup final would have been incredible. And I knew how big that was, the boys knew how big that was, and the feeling that it gave us before the game was a real push. So to actually miss out the way we did was, I don't even like thinking about what could have been, because we should have been there. We were there. I think supporters were booking a ticket to the final because we were that close. What might have been, but I don't even like to look that far, because we should have got there. We should have been there, and that is honestly, that would have been one of the most special moments. To get this football club to an FA Cup final would have been incredible. And we had one foot in it, and this is my one massive regret in my whole life. In my whole life, not even football. This is just a one massive regret in my whole life, because I've never watched this game back. I never will. I'll be honest with you, because from what I can remember is that for 70 minutes, 75 minutes was the perfect game. The perfect game. We were 2-0 up, 2 incredible goals, fantastic performance, in control, didn't give much away. Everything that we built ourselves on, we put into 70 minutes, and then a click of a finger and things changed. And honestly, mate, it's the biggest regret in my life, because that would have been one of the most special moments. To get this football club to an FA Cup final would have been incredible. And we had one foot in it, and to lose it like we did was something. Honestly, it'll stay with me for the wrong reasons for the rest of my life, because it is a massive, massive regret for me. July 2019, mate, and this was start Europa League, and I always remember, right, when Watford got beaten in the final, Nuno put a GIF in the group chat of just the Europa League, like Europa League appearing in the GIF, and that was the moment I got really excited. I got really, really excited to, like I said, what we've just been speaking about being the biggest regret. This is probably one of the biggest accomplishments we've had. To get this football club to Europe, to get this football club to Europa League was incredible, and this was the start of it. And honestly, God, mate, it was so exciting. It was so exciting every single week. And the people, obviously, the teams who've been in it past, and teams obviously got their own preferences and their own beliefs on it and their own opinions, but it was incredible, mate. Flying around every week, going to different places, experiencing different teams, playing against different teams, and trying to show yourself against them teams. It was absolutely incredible. But this was the start of it. This was obviously in Belfast against Crusaders. I think we had a little scare. I think Benno scored an own goal, I think. But the lads obviously come good. Ralph scored a couple. I think Jota, I can't remember who scored. But this was the real start of that moment of remembering them times, them memories. Yeah. The way the club attacked it, and the way the club never moaned, never said nothing about it. We just cracked on and we went, and it was kind of, right, we're playing Crusaders, we've got to go to Belfast. Right, we've got to go to Armenia, but we're playing Leicester on the Sunday. And we just done it. There was no real kind of, we can't do that, it's too far. We had recovery leggings on the plane. We're doing complexes on the plane. We're all on our backs with our legs up on the seats on the plane, just trying to recover, because we knew we had Leicester in the Premier League. And that's the biggest thing about that season, and I think sums up our football club, is that no one said a word about it. We just kind of, we're going to Armenia? Yeah, we'll crack on. We'll go to Leicester as well and play there, and go back to this place, or we'll go to Besiktas and we'll go to City, and whatever it was, mate, was incredible. And I think that just sums up what this football club's about. Yeah, what a day, mate. I'm glad you put this one in and never missed it. October 2019. This is one of the games that will live in my memory for forever. I played obviously quite a lot of games, and this is one that will live in my memory forever. We were on the back foot. It was tough. The atmosphere and the whistles every time we got on the ball, and the boos, and the lead up to the game. We were in a hotel, right, and we all, I don't want to sound anything about it, but we all stay in like quite nice hotels. But this hotel was amazing because it looked over the ground, so you could see inside the ground from the hotel. And I remember getting there, and like I said, we always go for a coffee day of the game, and we're having a little bit of Turkish delight. It was brilliant, and having a coffee day of the game, that was what it was like, honestly. So preparing for the game was absolutely amazing. But then when we got onto the ground, and even when we walked out just to go for a walk on the pitch, when we first got there, boos and whistles, I don't think it was full in the night, but the noise coming from the supporters was incredible. And I remember the Wolves fans up in a little corner at the top, and when a big fella scored in the last minute, what a feeling, because again, we were on the back foot, weren't we? I think it was a game where we defended and we tried to counter as much as we possibly can, but for the big fella to pop up, calm as you like, and stick in the bottom corner was an incredible feeling. October 2019, so yeah, some crackers though in there. There's some crackers, look at that. You think I scored, don't you? You think I scored? I don't know how I'm there first, by the way, I swear. But yeah, this is after obviously Besiktas, man. I think obviously everyone knows, and I think everyone wrote us off, didn't they, before the game. And I actually remember before this week, I'll go back to speaking about the week again, but we played Watford before this, and it was our first win of the season, and we were giving everybody an excuse really before this week, because they're playing Europa League and they're going to struggle this year, and you know that excuse that everybody likes to. So this week was remarkable for us really, to obviously play Watford and then win at Besiktas and then go to City and do what we've done. But I've talked a couple of times about like the perfect performance. This was the ultimate performance for me. This was, and obviously playing with the boys in the break. I think it was obviously Raul and Adama second half playing up front, and what the big fella done for his second half was ridiculous. But the way Raul played and the way all the boys played, I mean, staying together, sticking to the plan, defending properly, and really being a counter-attacking team, and that's what we've done. And yeah, it's a game that really puts a smile on my face, because again, I think you look back and I think it's a game where, especially teams in the Premier League and people around the Premier League said, oh, that's how Wolves play. That's what our Wolves do things. That's what Wolves do. And that's what we've done. Do you know what I mean? So I think it was an incredible day, yeah. I remember being in the dressing room after Besiktas and we kind of said, I've got City Sunday, and everyone kind of had a little bit of a chuckle as if it doesn't get any easier with Man City on a Sunday, does it? But no one kind of moaned. We cracked on with our recovery in the dressing room. We done what we needed to do on the plane. Got back at 5 in the morning. We trained Friday, Saturday and travelled to Manchester and off we went. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of another game where we go and try and win, and luckily we did, and what a day it was, mate, for everybody. Yeah. December 2019, yeah. So obviously one of my good mates, Matt Doherty, that's a top picture, that, do you know what I mean? Obviously you can tell how happy I am for him, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think we were written off, weren't we? Halfway through the game or a little bit into the second half. They were obviously down to 10 men, and I remember starting the game really well, to be honest with you, and obviously Ederson got sent off, Jota was obviously clean through, but I still look back to the penalty that they had. I still don't have it was a penalty, do you know what I mean? It still does me head in, but I think the way the boys rallied and got back together, and even them having 10 minutes, like they've got 12, do you know what I mean? Because the way they play is just fantastic, and how quick they move the ball and what they do. They're still an incredible football team, but the way we stuck to our principles and stuck to what we've done and stayed in it. Do you know what I mean? We got one goal and we always knew we were back in the game, one goal, and then obviously my good mate Doc stuck one in the bottom corner at the end, and yeah, the feeling after that game was actually a picture just somewhere of me in front of the North Bank, and I don't know who took it, but you can see the North Bank behind me clapping them at the end of the game, and just everybody ecstatic around the ground, and yeah, what a night it was for us on the night. Another Man U night, wasn't it? I lose track of how many incredible nights we've had there, but this is right up there as being one of the best, because the noise that you get from the crowd and the way they push in, it's a cliche to say, and you might think, oh, it can't that much. Honestly, the way they pushed and the noise that gets created from them stands is something that gives me goosebumps now thinking about it, and that's what sucks the ball into the net, the South Bank, when you know you're on the front foot, you know that they're there behind you, pushing you every step of the way, and that's what they done that night. August 20, yeah, this is the longest season in the world, mate, wasn't it? This picture, I think, is incredible. It's one of my favourite pictures of my time at the club, this, because I think it goes to show, seeing the Europa League badge in the background was ridiculous, and I think obviously we'd had a massive break between the Olympiacos games, didn't we? And we were raring to go. We couldn't wait for it, and we'd had the season behind closed doors, and this was behind closed doors, and I mentioned about regrets before with the semi-final. That's a regret for me with the crowd not being there, what they would have done, even though we won that night, but what they would have done and how they would have enjoyed that and how they would have pushed us, and the atmosphere that night would have been absolutely incredible. But again, the way we played, because Olympiacos were a top team, by the way, and we knew that when we were there, when they went down to 10 men, and they were still playing, and we were still finding it tough against them at their place, but we were lucky we obviously got the away goal, but the way we played this night was brilliant. Remember, again, you need that little bit of rubber of green where they had the goal disallowed for a little bit of a tight offside. But the night was fantastic. Actually sticking in there and keeping a clean sheet and winning the game was incredible for this club, and the excitement in this huddle at the time was incredible, mate, because we knew where we were going and what we had, and that we were obviously going to play in Sevilla, and Wolves v Sevilla, and like, how long ago did we have them games at this football club? So yeah, it was an incredible moment, but one of my favourite pictures of all time, that, mate, yeah. We also spoke about the FA Cup semi-final before. I don't think this is as much of a regret as that one, but it's a regret, I'll be honest with you, because we obviously had the penalty early on, and we were close to obviously getting the goal, and that would have given us something to hold on to. And I remember at the time we were always good holding on to things. We were a good side when we had to hold on, and it obviously stayed 0-0 long. And I always remember second half, this is tough, this, because they were a top team. They were moving the ball, and the way they moved the ball, and how quickly they moved the ball, and it was hot, and they were kind of used to the heat, and we were kind of panting and breathing really heavy and trying to get a grip of them a little bit. So they were a top team, and they were deserved winners in the end. They went on and won it. They were deserved winners because they were a fantastic side, but it's filled with regret just because I think we could have given ourselves something. And listen, there's no blame on anybody. Raul took a million penalties and scored loads, and incredible football. We love him to bits, so there's no problem at all. But yeah, I think if we could have given ourselves something to hold on to, I think it would have given us more of a chance. Because I always remember that season, we were good when we were holding on to something, and what might have been, but an incredible experience and an incredible moment to get this club to Europa League quarter-final was amazing, mate. Yeah. December 20, obviously into the next season now, and listen, one of my top mates, Pedro, and what a footballer, and how much we've missed him is ridiculous, mate, I'll be honest with you, but what a character he is. Listen, he was top draw this game. I don't know who I'm celebrating with there because the crowd's empty, so I don't know who I'm shouting at, I'll be honest with you. But as I said, this was what he'd done. That goal against Chelsea was ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? To obviously win the game 2-1, but what a footballer. And I remember that game. I remember playing really well that game, actually. All of us, I think, we stuck to what we'd done, and obviously Pedro popped up with the winner, but we've missed him like you wouldn't believe, and yeah, it was a great win this day, yeah. I don't think there was too many highlights to look back on, purely and simply because football wasn't the same. I'll be honest with you, and football was tough, and people might say to you, oh, it can't be that hard. Football was tough. I've mentioned how many times I've mentioned the crowd in this, talking to you here, and we never had them. That was a massive part of how we played, and that's what we lived off, that's what we fed off. We feed off the crowd as a team and as a club, and we never had that, so it was a real tough season for us, but having this little fella playing and doing what he was doing was incredible, and I think he was a real shining light, as were other players as well. But I think on the season where, as you mentioned, not being as successful as the other seasons, as we say, but then having this little fella doing what he was doing was incredible, and honestly it's a joy and a pleasure to play with him, it really is. May 21, obviously this was when obviously the gaff was leaving, and I think it was a time, I think, for everybody where we're obviously in a different moment now and the club's going in a different direction under obviously the new gaffer who's been absolutely fantastic. But this is obviously a moment where I think more the successful years that we had coming to an end, I think it was more emotional for that side of it, where it was kind of, we've obviously been promoted and things had gone so fast over the years, where we've been promoted, FA Cup semi-final, Europa League quarter-final, 2 7th-place finishes, and it was kind of like, that's coming to an end now. The whole thing's coming to an end, and we were kind of looking back on it as if like, what a few years they were a great few years, but we all understood that the club needed to and wanted to go into a different direction, and we all understood that. But I think that coming to the end of that season was more drawing a line and looking back on the memories that we'd made over the previous 3 or 4 seasons. The next one's a cracking picture, and a picture of disbelief if I think I'm honest, mate. So actually getting the end of that Kieran Trippier free kick and put it in the back of the net at Wembley was remarkable, mate. Yeah, and yeah, what a moment that is, what a picture. It's something that I never take anything for granted. Any time I play for England, for Wolves, and I've said it plenty of times before in interviews that I owe my life to this football club for what it's given me over the years, for the 7 years I've been here. I owe my life to it because not just for what it's done for me, what it's done for my family, what it's done for my children. My children are Wolves fans, that's all they've ever known. All they've ever known is this club, and I've said it plenty of times, but I owe my life to this club just because it got me to this moment. Do you know what I mean? I've only ever got to this moment because I played for this club, and this club put me to a level and put me at a level where I could get to this point. So I have a massive amount of debt that I owe to this football club, and I'll always give me all and give everything that I've got to this club. So it's something, like I said, will live with me forever, and these moments will live with me forever because, like I said, that picture, I don't even know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? I've just scored a goal at Wembley and I'm laughing. Do you know what I mean? I don't actually know what's going on, but you go back to that, and honestly, I really mean that when I say that I owe my life to this football club because of what it's done for me over the years. Yeah. When I obviously first got the phone, I've told the story before. I was actually on a walk with my wife and the children, and my phone was going, and my little man actually fell over. Right, so he's crying. There was carnage outside my house, carnage. But I can hear the phone going off in my pocket. So I'm thinking, I'll just ring them back. I can't deal with it. Little man's crying. I've got my little man, he's scooted and all kinds going on. But I go back to the house, and I had a message from Gareth Southgate on my phone, but I didn't know it was off him. So it was kind of like, Gareth Southgate's trying to ring you, Con. Can you ring him back? So then next minute I'm like, I'm flustered, I'm hot, I'm sweating. I'm like, oh my God. So I throw the kids to Amy. I said, Amy, I've got to ring Gareth Southgate back. So Amy's going, what? What's going on? So I phoned him outside, and it was the most surreal experience in my life because I'd just come back off holiday. It was at the time, and it was obviously like a bit of a pre-season. It was a bit of a mad camp. Do you know what I mean? Because we were kind of trying to get fit because we'd just been on holiday, and I'd obviously not had that long off because we obviously had the Europa League and most other teams had been off. So kind of going there, but my phone was just going off like you wouldn't believe. And obviously when it got announced and different things, but I understood what it meant to this football club because of the amount of supporters that were coming to me, the amount of supporters that were messaging me saying, oh my God, I can't believe you're in the England squad. A Wolves playing in the England squad. A Wolves playing in the England squad. We've not had that since Matt Jarvis. We've not had that since Steve Bull. And then all of a sudden, I'm kind of put my name with them sorts of players who played for them. I'm going, oh, this is massive. This is massive to our football club. And like I said to you before, mate, I always knew, and I always had in my head how much I owe this club for putting me there. But I knew how much it meant to the people of this club as well. And that was a real special feeling, to be honest with you as well. June 21. So this was, you know what, I actually really like this picture. I really love this picture just because the gaffer actually asked me to go to Marbella a little bit earlier. So I had a little bit of a break, and I'll be honest with you, mate, I was ready to go back in. Do you know what I mean? I was more than ready because it was kind of, I'd been to the Euros and I'd seen all the boys training in Marbella, and I had a little bit of, I need to be there, I want to be there, I want to listen to him. Got a new gaffer and I'm not there, what's going on here? I need to try and get there. So when he actually gave me the call and said, listen, can you just cut your holiday a little bit and come? So I was like, yeah, dead right. No problem at all. Fly out tomorrow, sound, no worries. And it's one of the first conversations I had with him, and I knew straight away how he wanted to do things, his idea, and how he wanted to improve. And the biggest thing I got from him was his detail in how he wants to work and how much he wants to improve players. And I can't speak more highly of him in terms of what he's done for us as players. His attention to detail every day, his staff that he's brought in, because his staff are absolutely fantastic as well. And this was one of the first conversations I had with him in terms of seeing actually what he wanted for the football club. And it really opened my eyes, because obviously we'd been used to something else for years, and then obviously you get a new set of eyes come in, and it's kind of, right, how do you want to see things? How do you want me to play? How do you want the lads to play? How do you want me to really support you and the lads? And this really opened my eyes to how we wanted to do things. And it's a conversation, well, the first conversation that I had with him, really. I think as I've got a bit older, it's not nerves. The only thing I want for this football club is this football club to do well. That's all I want. So if that's me being a part of it, that's what I want. Of course it is. I want to be part of this football club for as long as I can. Do you know what I mean? That's what I want to do. But if the gaffer wanted to do something else, that would be his own decision. That would be up to me to try and show him differently. So it weren't necessarily nerves. I feel as I've got older, I've kind of matured a little bit, and I understand football a little bit more. But it was kind of being as open as I possibly can to let him know that I'm here for whenever he needs me, what he needs me for. Do you need me to do this? Do you need me to do that? What do you need from the lads? What do you want me to do as captain? How do you want me to play? And I was just making sure that he knew I was open to that no matter what he wanted to do. And that's what I made clear to him. But it was more listening to him and how he wanted to do things. And it's up to me and us as players to adapt to his ideas. And I feel like we're doing that each and every week. We're trying to learn more of him each and every day. Even now, we're trying to learn every single day, because that's the biggest thing he wants from us. And we're trying to adapt as much as we possibly can. So that was as much as I was trying to do, sat on them steps with him there in Marbella. Just making sure I was open, just to try and take his ideas on board as much as I possibly can, to try and put them into motion the next training session. And luckily up to now we've been okay, but we've still got a lot to go. October 21, what a game this was, mate. This is one of my favourite games ever in my whole life. Honestly, because I remember on the day we weren't that good. We didn't perform that well. We know how big the derbies are around these parts in the Midlands. We know how big playing West Brom is. We know how big playing Blues is. We know how big playing Villa is. And going to Villa Park is a massive game for Wolves, and I've played in plenty of them over the years now. And to be 2-0 down was disappointing, because it was even more disappointing because we never played that well. But again, I've gone back to, obviously over the years, and what this football club's about, going to them European games and coming back and playing, and no one really moaning. We kind of got on with it, and we said to ourselves, we don't stop. If we can get a goal, things change. We know what can happen at 2-0 and then 2-1, because we've been on the other side of it when you're 2-0 up and then the other team score, gets a little bit nervy, and you drop and you get a bit deeper. And we knew that would be the case with Aston Villa, and we made sure we stayed in the game. And luckily, I still say to the lads now in the changes, and they all go mad at me, I always say, like, I meant to just nudge it into the corner with my left knee. Do you know what I mean? Just meant to nudge it in. You know, one of them, but I never, it just hit me and went in. But the feeling of it was, obviously, it got it back level, do you know what I mean? And I think the belief going through the lads at this point was that we can win this now. We can go and win this. We were well on the front foot. I think we were playing in their half, loads of balls going into the box, all these sorts of things, and the winning goal was, it wasn't like the derby goal, was it? We were talking about from Ruben, but listen, our winning goal at Villa Park was incredible. So to come back 2-0 down and win 3-2 in the last 10 minutes was incredible. And the scenes after, the scenes in the crowd, and the crowd coming on the pitch was incredible, mate. Yeah. 2-0 is such a horrible scoreline, because if you concede, it's minging, because you drop, because all of a sudden, mentally, and I think anyone would, any football fan would, you go, I need to hold on to this, even though everybody's pushing you, go and get another, no, can't lose, and you drop. And that's not just us who does that, that's a lot of teams. So it's always get the first goal and see where we come, but also don't concede. If you concede, it's done. The game's done. If you concede, the game's done. And we hung in there. We obviously scored the first one with Saiss by keeping it alive, and we always try and do a lot by keeping it alive. And obviously the second one was about keeping it alive as well. So it was always getting that first goal and see where you can get, and that's just proof in the pudding, isn't it? That if you get the first goal, you never know where you can end up. In Wolves games, that's up there with the top three, that 100%, mate. It's massive for me, that. I think it was massive for the belief as well. Obviously, we've got a new manager to start season, new staff, and we've always been together. But the feeling that game we had after the game, the character in the dressing room, the camaraderie after, the feeling of what we'd done, because we knew we hadn't played that well. We understood that there was a lot of improving to be done, and we knew we hadn't played that well, but that we'd actually gone and won at Villa Park in the last 10 minutes was an incredible feeling. So it's right up there in my top three without that, because of the game as well. I knew it was against. So. January 22, what a day, mate. What a day, honestly. I said that last one was top three. This is top three as well. Can we just do a load of top threes games? Do you know what I mean? Because, yeah, no, listen, mate, I think if this football club's going to win at Old Trafford, was amazing. But the way we played, and again, I go back to the gaffer in terms of how he was, and how he set us up that week was amazing, mate. The belief he gave us to go and play and to be confident and have the ball. And it's not known for teams to go to Old Trafford, especially over the years, to go to Old Trafford and dominate the ball and play with the ball and be confident and listen, be brave, take the ball in tight areas and open the pitch and make it wide and 2v1s and go 1v1s and enjoy yourself. And the belief he gave to the boys before that game was remarkable. And I remember getting to the ground and going out for a walk on the pitch, and you feel the history when you go there, as in it's an incredible place to play football, I'll be honest with you. The pitch is massive, the ground's massive, everything about it. You feel the history when you go there, but I think it was more the belief in how we wanted to play and what we wanted to do was the best thing about it, that we stuck to what we spoke about. Everything that we've done in the game, we spoke about all week. And the gaffer works on his game plan literally all week, and we listen to him every day, we listen to him intently every day, and we have meetings in terms of how he wants to do things. And it was how we went about his game plan and what we'd done, and how we actually kept the ball and was brave on the ball and moved the ball like we did. And listen, the goal was fantastic, but actually to hang on at the end and obviously keep a clean sheet was amazing, mate. January 22. On the other day, this, what a picture this is. Yeah, listen, it's been a good few weeks, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? The start of the year for us has been amazing, and it's just, this as a personal moment for me was unbelievable, I'll be honest with you, because I've waited a long time to score at the South Bank. I think the last time I scored was Crawley or something, back in one of them shirts there at the start. So listen, I've waited a long time for that, and to do it in the Premier League, to do it with this group of players, to do it for this football club is brilliant. And I should, if I'm being honest with you, now that I'm going up, I'm working a lot, I'm trying to score more, I'm trying to stay out and do a little bit of training, and so it's something I want to do. But to actually finally do it and score in front of the South Bank was an incredible feeling. My family were there, Amy was there, my kids were there, and they were going ballistic, mate. So yeah, it was a fantastic day, and to say we won as well. Do you know what I mean? To win the game makes it even better, and the lads obviously performed really well. So it was a great day for me. Yeah. When you're there in front of your own supporters, in front of, obviously here, it's the South Bank, and the feeling that you get just to see the smiles on people's faces, the happiness on people's faces, people going, that's what football's about. I mentioned to you before, the other year football weren't football because you never had that. You were celebrating to no one, you were doing nothing, no one was pushing on, no one was having a pop at the referees, no one was telling us we were rubbish when we were doing rubbish. That's what football's about, and to get that feeling to do it and see the smiles and the happiness on people's faces when you're celebrating is amazing. I think you can see I got the video off you, didn't I, what you put on social media that I'll keep on my phone. You see someone fly through the thing, I'm just laughing my head off. It's brilliant because people just lose all sense of everything they've got and just go ballistic for their football club, and that's what you want to see. Do you know what, mate? I don't know what to do at the time. I feel a bit bad at the time because obviously you hear it. I don't know whether to acknowledge it or just crack it to play on. And do you know what I mean? It gives me goosebumps. I'll be honest with you, my kids sing it at home, and it gives me goosebumps when I hear it. And like I said, I got that video off you, and I've watched it about a million times already, to be fair. And it's something that really does give me goosebumps. Yeah, it's something that I'll always do my best for them. That's something that I mention all the time about trying to perform well for this club and trying to improve this club, but it's to make them supporters happy. That's what we're here for. That's what football's about. Football about them 32,000 people and the rest who support Wolves at home and are watching on the telly, and that's what this football club's about. I've mentioned the atmosphere that it creates here, but what they give us, how they support us, the love that they show us is absolutely incredible, and I'll do everything in my power to make them happy, and I think as long as I'm doing that, I'll be happy, and hopefully they're happy at the same time as well. And we've been sat here for, an hour and a half just talking about memories and what we've done and how we've gone about things. Being made captain was a massive part. Being a massive part of this football club for me. I've spoke about a lot of things, Johnny, but being captain of this football club is a moment that I want to do forever. I'll be honest, I'd like to play football forever and ever and ever for this club. And being made captain of this club at the time was a real special feeling. Everything about it special, everything about this football club special, everything about the people in this football club special, and I love everything about it. So it's a real special club, and the bond that everyone's got is amazing, and it's something that we need to keep on pushing to try and get us better and try and get us better every season.